Hey, gun people. Well, this is they arrest this woman in Cleveland on child endangerment. So I'm going to go over kind of why they went in the house and their probable cause and reasonable suspicion and understanding how cops and what's going through their minds here. All right, here we go.
Cleveland Police, Dispatcher Catalana, where do you need the police?
And I'm calling because I think the lady upstairs is not upstairs. She's got 3 kids, and they're screaming their heads off upstairs. And I don't think their mother is home. And they're babies. She got three little boys upstairs. I think one is like 2 years old, and a small baby.
So she's done this before?
Yeah, she's an unfit mother.
Like, you don't know if she has walked out, what time she could have left?
No, I have no idea. I just woke up with that kid screaming upstairs. I mean, they've been screaming for at least a half an hour screaming.
Okay, we're going to get the police out there to check on them.
Okay, so on a call like this, when the cops show up, kids screaming, no one answering the door, obviously exigency comes in. Remember, there's only 3 ways to enter a house: consent, a warrant, or exigency. And I know a lot of people don't like exigency, but this is a case where exigency is a good thing. The cops don't have a warrant. Could they go get a warrant? Yeah, they could go write out a probable cause statement, find a judge, and say, "Judge, we got kids in here screaming, and we think they're in danger, and we'd like to go in." And, by the time they got back, the kids could be dead. So exigency was created when getting a warrant was too time-consuming, and it would interfere with the investigation to the extent that you would either lose evidence, or somebody would be in danger or killed or hurt, or somebody might get away, or a child might be abducted, etc. So that's where exigency comes in. Now, I know cops use exigency sometime maybe when they shouldn't, and the courts, it's their responsibility to deal with that. But in this case, this is a good use of exigency.
Yeah, they have to go through the back second door.
Yeah, I'm putting this in the assignment.
Screaming her heads off like she's not home. This lady
Are we
does this a
positive
lot.
she's not home?
It's going to be hard for this lady to tell this mother who lives behind them. They share a house. The house is split, so they actually have a door. She has a door that leads to their apartment that's been blocked off. So what someone has done is made money and split this house into 2, and they rent it to someone in front and one in the back. Or she's the owner. She split the back off and did it. But this is going to make living with your neighbor hard, because they'll be like, "I didn't call the cops." Okay.
She's there, they're screaming their heads off. She's got 3 kids. And sometimes she takes off and leaves them alone. They're babies. They're babies in Pampers.
There's no, as far as you know, there's nobody up there?
No, I don't think there's nobody up there.
Alright, because I know she's got a younger brother because I wrote him tickets.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, they're screaming their heads off like there's nobody up there. I mean, how you can leave 3
Not
kids?
just like normally screaming, just let them scream it
Just
out and fall asleep.
screaming. You know, you
Where
figure
do you hear
somebody
it
would
from?
be up. I can hear.
So it may sound like the cop's kind of asking questions that he doesn't need to ask. He's trying to make sure that what he does is reasonable. I want to have as much information so I can act. If she just says they're screaming, I go back there and kick the door, and then it turns out the mom's in there and she gave her a spanking, or the kid wanted an extra cookie and she said no, then, I'm in trouble, and I kicked the door and I wasn't justified. So the cop, although it seems like he's taking his time, now if the cops came up here and there was blood-curdling screams coming out of the house, they would just kick the door. But in this situation, you can't really hear it, and they can't hear it for a while.
Hear from the bathroom upstairs.
Alright, because I know I got a little one. When she cries, I'll let her sit there for 45 minutes until she
Yeah,
falls
but this is
herself to sleep.
constantly happening.
Well,
This is not normal.
Okay, so the cop can kind of tell that, look, this woman doesn't like this woman. She's called before. It's constantly happening. She's kind of fed up with her. Maybe she's a nosy neighbor. Maybe it isn't. The cop is kind of like, well, when I got a kid, I let it cry. I don't think that should have been said. I hate when cops start bringing up, their kids on calls. It shouldn't be in there. That's not a factor. I don't really care what you do, officer. I don't care how you raise your kids, and I don't care about what you've seen before. We are on this call with this set of facts and circumstances, and what you do with your kid has absolutely no business in this contact, in my opinion. So he tries the door first. I'm not sure I would have done that. I would have knocked first. Had that door open and he gone in, I think his PC for exigency might have been a little weak. He doesn't have any first-hand knowledge. He's got second-hand knowledge. He needs to do a little bit more of what's called due diligence. He needs to try and investigate a little bit before he just goes opening the door and walking in. If he opened that door and walked in and somebody shot him, be like, hey, I thought you were breaking in. Well, your neighbor said your kid was crying. So that gives you the right to open my door and come in. So I think the cop was wrong by doing that. Hard, long bangs. He's banging with his knuckles. Tells me he's not really experienced. Most cops who have been around for a while, they bang with the bottom of their hand. A bottom fist strike, the same one I'd hit you in the jaw with. It's called a bottom fist strike. That's normally the best way to bang on a door. You don't hurt your hand. You're not going to bang your knuckles, bruise your knuckles. It makes it louder, and you can actually shake the walls. So is this a reasonable time for somebody to answer? Is that enough time? Who thinks he can kick the door right now? I think he can, and he would probably be okay, but I wouldn't kick the door yet. I haven't banged enough times. I would bang 2 or 3 times really hard. I probably wouldn't have waited this long before I banged again. I would have a little bit more urgency at getting either these kids or someone to answer this door, or to where I can sufficiently say I've determined and I gave them enough time and I gave them enough notice that I'm kicking the door. Who thinks they waited long enough? Rick, I know I'm going to have some people here. They waited too long. I'm going to have other people here. They didn't wait long enough. You know what? That's why you can't make absolute policy on, every situation, because every situation is different. I'd have been banging like 3 times by now. I wouldn't have left the door. I'd have been banging this whole time. They also haven't announced police. When I was banging, I'd have been yelling, police, open the door. Police, we're checking on your kids. Is anybody there? I want to make sure not only do they know in the house, I want these neighbors over here complaining that I heard the damn cop yelling. Because if I kick this door and it goes down to a shooting and there's drugs in there and there's a gang member trying to shoot his way out and I end up killing somebody, I want to make damn sure before I kick this door that the whole neighborhood is pissed off at me because they heard me yelling. And there ain't no way that anybody's going to be inside the house when the defense attorney goes, my client was in there sleeping and he didn't hear and the cop only banged once. And no, that ain't happening with me. When I kick a door, everybody knows I'm kicking a door. We'll check that door again. Could have just came unlocked. What? Really? Banging with knuckles. Bad way to knock. Still no announcement. Still no yelling. If I ain't waking up neighbors, I'm not being loud enough. Rick, you're just a jackboot. You just like to disturb. No, that ain't why. I like to cover my ass on calls because I know that things can go bad really quick, and no call is a simple child, Like this guy, he's already gone in mindset. Well, I'll let my kid cry for 45 minutes so his mindset is already, there's nothing going on here. Bad way to go into any call. Still no police! Police, come to the door! Police! We heard kids in here. We're here for a call about children crying. You better answer the door. We're going to kick it. Why ain't he saying any of that? Rick, you're just a big jackboot. Shut up, you big dummies.
It's not like a door.
Aw, shit. Now he's got Negan coming in. Shave and a haircut. Dun dun.
Cleveland Police!
Oh, finally we know who they are. Finally I know it's not some burglar trying to get me to come to the door so he can rob me. Wow, first time I heard police.
Copy. Well, she's gonna have to let us in her house then and take us to where she hears this.
Yeah, because I don't hear anything.
Okay, who thinks they could have kicked the door? I would have banged more and I would have yelled more, but I think I would have kicked the door by now. Because if you heard screaming and now you don't hear it and no one's answering, and this woman lived next door, to me, those children either could have been hurt, they could have got stuck, they could be smothering, they could have cut themselves, be bleeding out. There's all kind of things that could be going on. I think I'd have been okay with kicking the door after I banged and yelled a few more times. I don't think they need to go back to her, but they do their due diligence. Again, this cop's mindset is, it's a BS call. I don't really want to have to do paperwork if I kick the door, and kids are probably okay. And, you know, you get that complacency officer that doesn't want to do anything he doesn't have to, maybe been written up a few times, so he's just riding it out, collecting his check till he can retire. And before somebody says, why doesn't the other officer take charge of it? Look, when you get on a call like this, you have what's called a primary officer and a cover officer. Who's ever beat this is, and whoever the primary officer, the first officer dispatched, this is his call. He handles it the way he wants to handle it. The other cop is there to back him up. He's not there to take control, to run over him, to start saying, dude, you're messing up. Well, Rick, that's why cops cover for each other. Look, there's a code, there's procedure. You can't have cops arguing. You got to have somebody in charge out there. That's the way it's set up. You may not like it. I may not like it. I mean, if I wasn't primary and I saw something going on, I'd bring it up. Unless it was life-threatening, I probably wouldn't push the issue.
I think now I'm hearing a little bit.
You can actually hear them upstairs. This is a
Is
door.
there another entrance to up there?
That's closed. But you can hear the kids actually from there.
You said you hear them good from your bathroom?
Yeah, I can hear them like from here in this room. You hear them like from upstairs.
Yo, somebody needs to water that plant. We got some plant abuse. Isn't there a code or ordinance? Can't we get government to make them water that plant? Rick, you're a bootleg. Oh, be quiet.
I mean, I hope she's not up there drugged up or something.
That's a clue. When the neighbor is saying, I hope they're not drugged up, basically what she tells them is they use drugs with the kids.
There's no way. That's completely sealed.
Yeah, if you have a boss who's not here, we're not getting
Now you can hear the kids crying. So now the cops have more than due diligence. No one's answering the door. They've gave notice, and they still hear the kids crying. So this corroborates what the caller called. Now they have more than enough to kick the door almost immediately now, in my book.
Answer for that upstairs, and we can hear the children crying from the downstairs unit.
And this is the indecisiveness. This is the quota hiring standard of hiring low qualified people and lowering the standards so we can hire quota hires, and then you can't have anybody make a decision. I remember I told a story where we hired a guy at our agency that was LAPD for a couple years. And we were like, damn, man, he was LAPD. They got pretty good training. They get a lot of shit down there, man. He must be good, sharp trip. He failed probation. He could not make a decision. Everything that happened, he had to call a supervisor when he worked in LA. He could not make a decision. I know there's a couple places in California, cops cannot make a probable cause arrest without getting supervisor approval. So if a guy hits you, you can't arrest him without calling a supervisor and go, hey, guy just hit me. I want to arrest him for assault. The sergeant has to say, okay. So this is how you get this cops that can't make a decision. He's on the phone now asking what I should do, getting permission.
Yeah.
Can you hear it up?
Yeah, clear as day. Yeah, you can hear him.
Let's go. Let me see.
It's like an entrance for their house.
But
You
is
know,
it
it's an
like locked
entrance
shut?
there, but it's
But it's
closed
completely
because it's a
sealed.
second apartment. So
So
that's
this won't
completely
open?
sealed. No.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay, this guy's kind of he's so paranoid to make a decision. He doesn't want to do it. Some people will say that's good. Kicking someone's door is a big incident and you should take your time. You know what? When it comes to kids, I usually don't play around. I'm not messing around. If you can't answer the freaking door, when I call and announce police and I bang on the door several times and it's at night and the neighbor said the child's been crying for 30 minutes already and now I've got possible drug use and she said that she's done this before and I've arrested your brother. Totality of circumstances. These cops have so much information to act. In my opinion, they should have acted much quicker, but this guy wants to, I got to be careful. I don't want to make a mistake. Let me try and communicate with the kid while it's in there smothering or choking or stuck somewhere and he can't breathe. And by the time I make a decision to go in, the kid's dead.
Hey, it's the police. Can you hear me? We're going to kick in their door.
Okay, so it's the police. Can you hear me? He didn't get a response. If one of the kids would have said, yeah, I hear you, then he could have communicated, is there an adult in the house? Where's your mom? Are you guys hurt? So establishing a communication, not necessarily a bad thing, but when a cop figured out that they're still crying and they didn't respond and answer, he finally pulled the trigger and go, okay, we're kicking the door. Jeez, guys, about freaking time. What are you waiting for? A freaking nuclear bomb to give you a
Locked
clue?
back there?
Yeah, it's locked.
Usually she leaves it open.
I'll get my supervisor here and go from there, but we might end up kicking in that door.
Oh, we went from we're kicking the door to I got to get my supervisor. We might kick the door.
What kind of car does she drive?
Oh, that's her car right there. That's her truck. It's expired plates. She can't drive.
This woman kills me. Oh, that's her car. It's expired plates, by the way, if you want to write it a ticket. You know what? We leave that for CHP. We'll call them. They don't have nothing else better to do. As soon as they leave the donut shop, they'll run over here and write that for expired plates. Now that's a knock. You see the difference, people? That's a knock. You do the same thing with the bottom of your fist. You make a fist and you hit the bottom. But that's a freaking knock. That's how I'm knocked. I'm being so obnoxious that there's no way you're not going to hear me wake up or be irritated and want to come tell me to shut the hell up. I can't tell you the number of times people answer the freaking door in my face. Why are you banging on my door? And then we'd have a conversation from there.
Cleveland police, come to the door! Go Come to the door, I might be kicking it in. Is she a white, black, Hispanic woman?
She hardly speaks any English.
Hispanic and hardly speaks any English. Gee, wonder if she's getting welfare because, you know, diversity is our strength. Rick, you can't say whatever.
I mean, I find her kids outside walking through alleys in the morning. Little kids.
This woman's just getting it all off her chest. Kids running around an alley, unsupervised. Kids, mom's using drugs. Boyfriend's been arrested before. Now not home. Always out leaving. Car's got expired plates. Damn, this girl's been to the academy and got more damn knowledge than these two cops. Okay, who thinks they're waiting too long? I know I'm going to have somebody saying, no, they did the right thing. They waited long. They could have waited longer. I think they're waiting way too long. I'd have been at that door.
And there's no other entrance to that apartment besides that door. Who's
There's
the
no
landlord?
other entrance unless I call the landlord.
Where's the landlord?
Well, he's got to be home in his house.
Where's
He
that
lives
at?
on 88th on Lorraine.
Can you try to get a hold of him,
I could try to call him, see if he answers.
please?
I'll do that.
So calling the landlord, to me, that's almost negligent. You've got kids in there that are unattended, nobody's answering, they could be in danger. You need to get in there for the kids' sake. Not so you can kick a door, not so you can exert your authority, not because you're the government and you're unaccountable, like I'll have all these people coming here saying. You should get in there because these kids don't have anybody protecting them and they could be in trouble and they need an adult to freaking help and intervene. And you have the authority and power to do that, then freaking do it and quit trying to pussyfoot around. Rick, you're just a bootleg chap.
It's like they're back there somewhere.
Yeah, no, they're back in there. There's a window over here that looks like it's covered.
Yeah, I think that one.
They're probably back in there. Because the only one that's covered, like that's open from both
That's
sides.
a little boy crying.
Yeah.
I gotta bump this up because these guys take forever to make a decision.
She let us in. We could hear the
I was gonna wait till you're back here before I start kicking.
I was gonna wait for you to start kicking. That's alright, I'm kicking it now. He must have got approval from a sergeant because now he's like on a mission.
Cleveland police, open the door, I'm kicking it in!
Okay, I gotta give the cops some props. He used a good mule kick and kicked it with one kick, didn't bounce off, etc. I told a story where I tried to kick a damn mobile home door and flew backwards. But I digress.
Adam 3-1, we're inside. Cleveland police! Cleveland police!
Do these guys, do they not have their guns out? Dude, you ever kick a door,
Okay.
your gun
I
needs
was
to
gonna wait
be
till you're
out.
back here before I start kicking.
Cleveland police, open the door, I'm kicking it in!
Never kick a door without your gun out. Things are... Rick, have you ever gun? Your finger's off the trigger. Don't give me this inner limb interaction. Not supposed to do it. Look, you cannot be kicking doors and not having your gun out. The likelihood that you're going to startle or somebody's going to come out with a gun is high. And that's poor officer safety to be kicking a door and entering an unknown residence that you need to clear of threats. And you need to do a protective sweep. And you do protective sweeps with your gun out. Bad, bad, bad. Gets his gloves out of his pocket.
Adam 3-1, we're inside. Cleveland police! Cleveland police!
This guy's got a flashlight and gloves. Hallway, fatal funnel, very tough entrance Tactics-wise, you're kind of screwed. Which is why you need your gun. They should be clearing the top of this rail and clearing straight ahead in case somebody comes around with a gun. These guys would have been ambushed so easy. Let's just say, for the matter of making stuff up like it's never freaking happened before, of course it has. There would have been gang members in here. They were making drugs. They were selling drugs. And they were like, let's just not open the door till the cops leave. And then these guys kick it and come walking up here like Wyatt Earp up the stairway with their guns in their holster. And they're both dead. And then we'd be crying. They were heroes. They died heroes walking up the stairs with their guns in their holster. Because diversity's our strength.
Cleveland Police!
Mindset of these two officers are so inconsistent. They got focused on children and checking, and they didn't think of all the other possibilities that could be happening.
Hello? Cleveland Police! Is anybody in here?
Now he puts his hand on his gun. He's already went through a stairwell and everything. He's in another room. Now, there's a couple doors in here. There's a lot of places to hide, but, man, I can't believe... Why don't cops pull their freaking guns anymore? Are you kidding me?
Cleveland Police!
I know I'm going to have some dummy here come in there talking about, Rick, it's kids. Why would you want to pull the gun? You might scare them. I don't care if I scare them. I'm going in there to protect them. I need to make sure that I'm still around to protect them in case there's some idiot that's going to shoot or stab or charge me and because they're cracked out or drugged out or hallucinating out on shrooms, and they come out with a freaking knife because they think they're being raided or something, and I got my damn gun in my holster. Rick, you're just a bootleg. Oh, be quiet.
Hello? Hello?
Opening doors with your gun hand and a flashlight in your other hand. Yeah, that's a good move. Gee, what are you going to do if you see a guy with a gun in there, dude? You going to shut the door? You going to scream? What are you going to do? I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to be a victim.
They got the door latched. Are you kidding me?
Now he's got his gun out. Somewhere he decided to pull his gun. Did y'all see that? I don't know, somebody say, no he didn't, Rick. That was a radio. That was his flashlight. It was a gun. I saw it. Right there.
They got the door latched. Are you kidding me?
Look at this nice place. She can go out drinking. Mom comes in, by the way, in the middle of this. Been out drinking, drunk. Drugs. Always letting the kids run around. Getting welfare. Getting free housing. Section 8. The government's paying for this house. Doesn't speak English. Rick, diversity is our strength. Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Check that.
This goes upstairs, but there's a mattress in the way.
Hello?
If I was going to hide, guess where I'd hide? On the other side of the mattress. This goes upstairs, there's a mattress in the way. No shit. That's the best. Look, all you crooks out there who are watching this trying to learn tactics. There's a bunch of lazy cops out there. If you make a cop work to find you, he probably won't find you. I can't tell you the number of cops that refuse to go in attics. And I didn't like going in attics. But I would at least stick my head in with my gun and flashlight and do a scan. I wouldn't go crawling around checking everything, but at least I would shine my light. There's a lot of cops that won't even look in the attic because they don't want to get the fiberglass on them.
Are you okay? Are you okay? Enter 3-1 radio. Are you okay, bud? Are you...
So she leaves him alone, puts a loud radio on so maybe they won't hear him crying, and goes out drinking. Rick, how can she afford to do that? Well, see, there's this thing called liberalism that believes in rewarding bad behavior, that believes in giving out free money to irresponsible people so they can just breed and have more children. Because diversity is our strength. I mean, it's just ignorant the way people think.
You okay?
Oh, hey, bud.
Enter 3-1 radio. Can you get EMS come out here and check on 3 toddlers, please? They're all awake and conscious.
3 toddlers left alone. TV in this house. Knives, gun, probably poison. No food. Mom's out drinking. Collecting welfare. Section 8 housing. Rick, you're making a lot of these idiots coming here. I don't know where they come from. You make a lot of assumptions. You don't know that she's on welfare. Oh, yeah, I'm sure she's out. She's got a great job, and she's paying rent in this house, and she's got money to go out drinking and leave her kids alone all the time, and got a car with expired plates. Oh, yeah, I'm sure she's just a freaking wonderful, doctor student about to be a medical surgeon.
Ages 2 to 4. No adults. They were locked in their room with a latch on the outside of the door.
These calls piss me off, man. I have zero patience for people that do this to kids. And a lot of cops will be like, if the mom came back, man, I don't want to do paperwork. I don't want to mess with CPS. I'll just notify CPS and let them do a check 3 days later. That's easy, and I'll move on. And to me, it's like, you know what? These damn kids ain't got a chance unless you do something, unless you get them out of there. And I'm not saying the system is good, and CPS may be even worse than where they're living, but at least they get a chance and they have some power and control to make the parent do something better. Just leaving it, there's no chance that it's going to get better. The kids are just doomed.
It smells terrible in here.
It's real bad.
Guys, do you got clothes? Can you put some clothes on?
Ages 2 to 4. Can a 2-year-old know when you tell them to get dressed? I don't know.
Can you please? Can you put some clothes on? Jesus. Jesus.
Just make sure she's not
Hey guys, can you put some clothes?
Make sure she's not passed out, dead in the tub, drunk, drugged. Because that happens sometimes. You go in and the mom's so trashed, she doesn't know you're there, the kids. But in things like this, man, what I would do on a child case like this, I'd be looking in the refrigerator, make sure there's food. If there's no food for these kids, I'd be documenting that. If there's dirty dishes, if there's roaches, some of the houses I went into, there was used tampons and Kotex in the middle of the floor. There were dirty diapers that they just threw in a corner of every room. There were flies on it, ants everywhere. I mean, some of the houses you go in, you're just like, Jesus Christ, man. How can nobody not report this or not know this? Nobody cares. All government cares about is they have the ability to give out more money. They get to hire more workers at the welfare office. The government gets to grow. We get to hire more CPS workers when we take the kids. We get to hire more judges and lawyers to defend the parents when we take them to court so they get free legal advice. And, it's just such a nasty system where kids are involved. Here comes mom.
Clothes on? Contact 696 kids. Get them out here.
Roger.
Hey, English? Any English? No? No English?
We didn't have phones when I was working that could videotape. I mean, I had a Nextel, but, you had to get an upgraded phone just to take a picture on your phone. And only the chief had that. So, by the time I got out, everybody had the phone where you could take pictures and you could do short little videos, but not like we have now, man. Today, shoot, I'd be videotaping all this in high def, taking pictures. I mean, it's so much easier to make a good case when you have video like this.
Are you guys okay? Huh? Can you talk to me, please? Are you guys okay? Where's your mom?
Lights on, TV's on, radio's on, fans on. Who's paying the electric bill, Rick? How does she... Well, when you're on welfare, no matter how... I used to go walk in these homes, it drove me nuts. People on welfare, Section 8 housing, not doing anything, sitting on the front porch drinking, and you go in their house, the doors are open, the air conditioner's on full blast all the time. Because they get low income electric rates. Their max bill is like $50 a month. They can't be charged more than $50. So they figure out, we'll just leave everything on full blast all the time. What do we care? Who cares if it burns it out, uses it a lot? It's not ours. It's free money. We're living for free. All we got to do is go collect our check. That's all we got to do. Because diversity's our strength.
Can you put some clothes on? Do you have some clothes to put on? Okay. Can you help your mother too? Huh?
Hello?
Stop!
Oh, Mom showed up. Oh, look. Mom's got clean clothes. Mom's got all this jewelry on. Mom was out drinking. The kids are locked in a room, Rick. Why are you? You're just a big bootleg government. You want to get in everybody's life. Kids don't have choices, and it's one of the few times I agree when government should get involved, because you don't have to have a degree or even have a damn brain cell to have a kid. But you did tell parents they run around like somehow they're special because they were able to sleep together and have a child, and therefore they're parents and they have this special knowledge. Look, it don't take nothing to have a kid.
Stop!
What's up?
Where have you been?
My sister
Step out here.
Oops, sorry, bud. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Why is these kids home alone?
My sister
Hello?
here.
No.
What
No
is
sister.
Really?
No sister. Oh,
Hello,
come
hello.
here. Hey, come here.
Hey,
Come here.
You're gonna have to wait out
Hey,
here.
hey.
Hey, ma'am.
Wait.
You're gonna wait out here.
Over here.
Man, these guys have no control. This woman's just like running. I'm going over here. This is where I keep my gun. I got to get over here and get to my gun. Oh, no. You can't go over there. Really? Looks like she went over there pretty damn fine to me. You guys officer safety freaking stink. What is it with these cops now?
Wait.
I don't know who you are yet. No.
Let me see my
Hold on.
kids.
Relax.
please.
Relax.
Oh my God,
Relax.
no.
Where'd she come from?
What?
She just popped up out of nowhere.
Let
Stop.
me see my
I
skin.
Letting her run around behind him, right? Have access to her gun, running behind, all up in his space. She needs to be handcuffed. She's either going to jail or she shouldn't be there. I'm in the middle of a crime scene. This is a crime scene. These kids are left alone. You control your crime scene, and anybody tries to storm in a crime scene gets handcuffed. She's a no person. You've already told her. She either gets handcuffed or she's on the ground. Rick, you can't be treating women like that. You just don't like women. Yeah, okay, whatever. I control my crime. Ain't nobody coming in on me like that. That's why I didn't lose my gun and get shot when I was working with a lot of dangerous people.
Told you to stop. You weren't worried about your kids when you locked them in the bedroom and you took off, were
Let me
you?
see my kids. please.
Yeah. You got ID?
My hair. My
Where's your
sister
ID?
here.
How does she have money to get tattoos? Who's paying for that? Rick, diversity is our strength. Okay, I forgot.
Here.
No, your sister's not here. No one's here.
Nobody's here.
Just the
Three
kids.
kids.
Where's your ID?
Where's your ID? Where is it?
Oh my God.
In your room? Listen.
She seems upset. You know why she's upset? Because when CPS takes your kids, your aid stops. Just for the kids, you still get your EDP card and your freaking Section 8. You get all the other stuff. None of that stops. Just the aid for the kids stops.
Listen.
I'm in the
You're gonna push my buttons. Relax. You're gonna listen to me, and I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. Where's your ID? Okay. Well,
They were locked in that room.
what's your name?
Okay.
You smell like you've been drinking. You just come from the bar. Where you at? Benny's?
Yeah.
Are these
Yeah.
your kids?
Yeah.
Are these your kids?
I'm thinking Benny's is the local bar around the corner.
All right, you know what?
Yeah, she's...
Put your hands behind your back.
Wait.
Put your hands-
Let me see my
No.
Notice Sergeant's like, no, bullshit. You were out drinking. You left the kids here. You're going to jail. The sergeant took action that these other two cops should have done as soon as she walked in. Finally, he does it.
Relax.
Your kids are fine.
Wait.
Stop.
Wait.
Take it right now.
Please.
Relax.
Right now.
Relax.
Put your hands behind your back.
Please.
Rick, I'm going to have the bleeding heart liberals here. They shouldn't arrest her in front of the kids. This is not the kids' fault. We need to protect the kids. Whatever.
Let me see my kids.
Your kids are fine. We're taking care
No,
of them
let
now
me
'cause you
see.
can't.
Let me
Oh, now she wants to see him. A few minutes ago when she was all dressed up with her tattoos and jewelry, out hanging out, leaving the kids alone, locked in a freaking room that stinks with no food and a fan and TV. No. She didn't love her kids then. She only loves them now because she's about to lose some money. Rick, diversity is our strength. Okay.
see. Let me
Do not turn your
Give
face.
me some light. What's up?
Right.
Let me touch.
see. Let me see.
No, you're not going to
Please.
see them. Your kids are fine. We're taking care of them now. All right? You need to relax.
Oh my God.
If I ask for my kids, then it'll look like I care, and the mean police were taking them, and I didn't understand, and I'll get an interpreter, and I'll get a free lawyer, and they'll say the cops were mean to me because I was Hispanic, and because they didn't like me, and I'll make up all these excuses for my bad behavior. It's not about color and race, people. It's about behavior. Stop letting the liberal narrative tell you it's about something else. All right, she ends up going to jail, and CPS takes the kids. We'll end that there.